Hello, everyone. Hello, hello. Welcome to the Bureau Keynotes. Glad to have each and every one of you on. I love Tuesday evenings because we get to hear from our very great speakers. And this one young lady coming up is okay. I'm not going to even say anything. I have no words. I'm going to let you hear for yourself. So I'm going to introduce her and get out of the way. Renee Linsom is a writer, blogger, and entrepreneur. She hosts a show on Mexiverse called Crazy Weird News. Renee is also an author and has written the upcoming book, Sacred Spaces. Renee believes that everything that has happened has brought her closer to her purpose. Please welcome Queen Renee Linsom with her message, Stop Carrying It.
Stop carrying it. So, when I say to you, stop carrying it, what immediately comes into your mind? So, I want you guys to tell me in the comments what comes into your mind when you hear stop carrying it. So, let me tell you guys a little story. Back when I was in high school, my science teacher, Mr. Young, said, in a room full of teenagers, he says, if a girl is plus size, it is going to be hard for her to get married or to even date. And so here I am, a teenager. Okay, I was a plus size teenager who wore glasses and was also dark skinned. So when I heard it, I thought, oh, we're going to be in a relationship now, all because of what Mr. Young said. And Mr. Young was a tall, overweight guy. Funny enough, yes. And that was my science teacher. But to answer the question, stop carrying it. Stop carrying the things that are only preventing your ascension. Every year, I hear all across social media, and I hear it in my life, new year, new me. I think it's a bunch of mumbo jumbo. To me, a new year means nothing if you are still carrying the same descending tactics from last year onward. It often reminds me of when I see people at the gym and you have that when you go that first day of the new year and people are in there working out, you see everybody getting it in, and then the following day you see a little less people, then the third day is a little less, and then by the second week, by the first full week, people are gone, and you wonder, well, what happened? People are still carrying the same descending tactics from the last year onward. So it means nothing if you are still gonna go from last year. You have to ascend, not to descend. So what is ascension? I know I said ascension, but what is it? You may be asking me, and I'm so glad you asked. Ascension is rising to an important position or a higher level. It happens when you adopt a growth mindset. Every time that you learn, you only get better. You keep going higher. But the concern comes when you assume that you have reached the ceiling of life and there is no need of getting better. You just say, okay, this is good right here, and I'm just going to stay right there, right? Oh, there's always something more to learn. How many of us have carried emotional baggage for so long that it feels like a permanent part of who we are? Mm. So stop carrying it. So many times we let the things people have said influence us for years. Case in point, what Mr. Young said to me my sophomore year in high school. I was 15 years old when I assumed that I would never find love because of my size. I assumed that. I held on to it for years until I met a guy that actually liked me for just me. So how many of you are still carrying things that have hurt you? Hmm. So here are some ways that you may be carrying some hurtful things. Let's go ahead. Let's dive into this. One, you have a baggage check-in counter. You may be like, Renee, what is this? So if you have ever flown, you can imagine being in an airport, waiting in line. Each suitcase represents a past grievance or emotional hurt that you have carried. So the weight of these suitcases becomes not just physical, but emotional, holding us back from freely navigating the journey of life. So, case in point, I heard a guy say to me, he said, it was not easy for me being extremely dark. I was a lot darker when I was younger. So a guy said to me that I look like a bug, told me that when I was 12, said that I looked like a bug. He said I looked like a roach. And I said, so that was one of the things that was in my suitcase, because a lot of times I would look at myself and be like, that dude was right. I do look like that. Look at me. I'm not fair skinned. I'm just, oh. So that was one of the things that was in my suitcase. So just like the airport, the longer we hold on to these suitcases, the heavier they become. And it will take a toll on your mental and emotional well-being. Now, baggage check-in is a choice, and you have the power to lighten your load. You have the power. So, number 2, the emotional junk drawer. Who's like me that has that one drawer in their kitchen that is just for miscellaneous stuff? Am I the only one? You put batteries, you put a bunch of this different stuff, and you're like, yeah, I'll just put it in there until I need it. I can just go here. Well, think of it with your emotions. You stash away hurts, disappointments, and unresolved issues. Over time, this drawer becomes a mix of emotions, or as I like to call it, a spaghetti junction of emotions that spills over into your daily life, affecting our decisions and relationships. A lot of us have brought past hurts from one relationship to another. Because you are carrying something that you're not meant to carry. Case in point, the things that people had said to me over the years, I said, it must be true. So that even when I met Jay, I was like, I don't know why he's trying to talk to me. I've got this, that, and the other. And my walls were so high up, I almost damaged the blessing that was right in front of me. So think of that, your emotional junk drawer. What is in your emotional junk drawer? It is important that you do emotional spring cleaning. So I want to ask you guys, what might be in your emotional junk drawers? And I want you to think about that one word, decluttering. Creating a space for positive experiences, it requires acknowledging and clearing out emotional clutter. If you have all of these bad things that you're holding in your junk drawer or in your hands, how are you going to embrace the positive that is also coming your way? All right. Now we are going to swing with the backpack of regret. So we have the weight of past mistakes, missed opportunities, and self-doubt. I feel like that self-doubt can have the potential to turn anyone into a Debbie Downer, because you're like, man, I can't do this. It's not possible for me. But the larger your backpack, the harder it is to move forward. So I want you to think about what is in your backpack, if you have anything in your backpack of regret. Because a lot of times, I know for me, I thought, man, Renee, you should have went ahead and did this. You should have went ahead. You just like that boy said to you when you was 13. See, you should have. We can hold on to so many things for so long. I mean, so your backpack of regret. And here it goes, the emotional hoarder's garage. Have you guys ever seen that show, Hoarders? It's one of my favorite shows. And I look at it and, you look at people's houses and you go, how were you able to live in there? How were you able to eat, sleep in this house? Everything is as tall as Shaquille O'Neal. How were you able to do anything? Sometimes we do the exact same thing with our emotions. We hoard all of those emotions, all of those old hurts, resentments, and negative memories. Woo! Those negative memories are a trip if we allow them to be. If we continue to hold on to them, because hoarders, if you say, well, why don't you throw that away? No, I don't want to. Because a lot of times misery loves company. And a lot of times we get so familiar with the hurt, we don't know who we are without it. Something to think about, huh? I want you to think about emotional hoarding on your personal growth. Opening up your garage door, let in the light, clear it out, the emotional clutter. You need to create a space for love, joy, and new beginnings, because there are so many wonderful new things that want to come into your garage. But if you are too busy having all of the doubt, all of the negative memories, then how are you going to have space for any of that? How? So tell me, how much does your life weigh? How much? So, do you know what the definition of insanity is? And I always be like, woo, doing the same thing, but expecting a different result. So tell me, how do you guys think that that's supposed to work? You think that you're doing the same thing, but saying, oh yeah, everything's gonna be different since I'm doing it differently, but you're not doing things differently. It's like building a house. If I have a house of regret and I go over to Grace's Street and I have the same bricks, I'm going to build another house of regret. It's not going to be a different house. It's still going to be the exact carbon copy. So, in order to have new experiences, I must do new things. FYI, the definition of insanity was a quote by Albert Einstein. There comes a time where you must stop carrying things that do not mean you any good. Now, for me, the light bulb, kind of like in the cartoon, goes bing. The light bulb for me came on when I saw myself hoping that things would change, but I was scared of it. I was scared of change. And then when I tried to change, I got hurt. And I said, nope, you can't make me. I'm not going to do it. I pull up the white flag. I surrender. I'm just not going to do it. And then my life started resembling that movie, Groundhog Day. You guys ever seen that movie? The same thing every single day, over and over again. So is that what you want for your life? You living the same day over and over again. It's almost like when you hear people say, what's going on? And they say, SOSO, same old, same old. And like, ooh, nothing exciting, nothing's happening. Well, it's because the same choices are being made. And if you want to have new things, then you're going to have to do new things in order to get them. So let's have a little bit of some, let's do some interaction because, so in the chat, I want you guys to share something that you are ready to release. It could be a fear, a limiting belief, a past hurt, whatever is weighing you down. So I want all of you to put that into the chat and tell us what you are ready to release. So this is the first part. Identifying your emotional baggage. A lot of times for me, it was just the words of other people. I put so much on what other people said that I didn't even know what Renee thought about her. I listened to everybody else. That was my biggest baggage that I had. And eventually the biggest weight that I had to lose was the weight of other people's opinions. That was my biggest baggage that I had. So I want you to think about what emotional baggage are you carrying. So next, I want you to write a release statement. So instead of saying, I want to let go of, I want you to say, I release the belief of. So you can feel free to share this. I love what I'm seeing in these comments. This is amazing. Now, I want you guys to write this down. If any of you have a journal, I want you to write this down. You can do a symbolic gesture. You can tear up your written statement. You can delete it digitally, or you can do another gesture that signifies letting go. All right. And once you guys have done that, I want you to visualize yourself ascending above the weight that you have released. Imagining the freedom and the lightness that comes with this release, how you are able to fly high truly. I started flying a lot higher when I stopped thinking of myself as a 12-year-old girl that was too dark, too heavy, and too whatever everyone else thought about me. And I had to think, Renee, what do you say about you? Do you know who you are, Renee? Those are things that I had to ask myself and not listen to anyone else, but listen to me. So the important thing is I also want you guys to reflect on your progress. To any of you that journal, because I love to journal, I want you to reflect on your progress, even how you look at yourself in the mirror, even how you talk to other people. Look at your progression. Celebrate your small victories and note any challenges. This is going to be crucial in your journey of continued ascension. So now, here are some benefits, that come when you stop carrying those, when you stop carrying those awful things, when you stop carrying that. 1, self-love. It starts with you. It starts with you. I mentioned before, I had to really start loving myself, not just for what I could do for others, but just Renee being Renee, just Grace being Grace, just Jalen being Jalen. Even if you have nothing else, you're bringing you self-love. 2, give your emotions a voice. Woo! Many times I suffered silently or I tried to ignore it. And then when I stopped carrying hurtful emotions, I understood that it's okay to feel how I feel. Emotions demand to be felt. And with me, I noticed that if I did not deal with it, It came out in very harmful and negative ways when I didn't give my emotions a voice. 3, freedom. Woo! No, I'm not talking about the George Michael song. I'm not talking about that. But you acknowledge what has happened, learn from it, and move forward. Moving forward solves all problems. If you wonder, what should I do? Just start moving. Start moving. And number 4, help somebody else. It's easy for me to shine my light when I got out of darkness. When you stop carrying things, you can help someone else ascend. The blind cannot lead the blind. If I don't know where I'm going, how am I supposed to help you? Can't. Because we're both going to end up in a ditch, and that's not cool. I don't want to end up there. It's dark. But one thing, okay, I want us to go back over the benefits of when you stop carrying it. We said self-love, giving your emotions a voice, freedom, and helping someone else. And remember, we talked about how it is important to make sure you check your emotions, okay? Your baggage check-in counter, your emotional junk drawer, your backpack of regret, your emotional hoarder's garage. So how much does your life weigh? Remember how we had talked about that. So as we come to the end of our time, I want you to think about these releases that we have made today. In the act of letting go, you have shed the weight of your fears, doubts, and past hurts. Now imagine if each of us carries this lightness into our lives. So let me tell you guys this. One of my favorite movies, Batman. Yes, I know. And there's the ending when you think the Joker is about to get away. And he says, oh, and he's like, I could just kill myself. And it's like, oh boy. And all of a sudden, Batman pulls out one of his gadgets and he gets tied to a statue. And as he tries to go up, that statue keeps, and he eventually can't hold on much longer and he falls and he dies. You have to stop carrying the weight that is only diminishing you. It's time to cut it off and fly. It is only going to you're only going to keep going down, 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 just like the Joker did. Now, remember, I want you to picture yourself soaring above the weight that you have released, embracing the freedom that comes with letting go. Imagine the impact not only on your life, but those around you by stopping the cycle of carrying what doesn't serve you. We become beacons of inspiration, guiding others to ascend. So, thank you guys for joining me on this journey on today. May you walk away with the determinations to stop carrying what is holding you back and the courage to let your light illuminate the path ahead. Your ascent begins now. Thank you.
All right.